Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock. This is a channel where megalithic fans get to put on megalithic lens and see things from a different perspective. I have presented 4 parts of this mysterious ancient site you can find in Cambodia playlist. This video will give you an idea of how ridiculous it is that no one is talking about this site. Let's go inside the third enclosure and check out another temple that looks unimpressive at first glance. This temple is called Kat Kadai Temple. According to Louis Finot, a French archaeologist, an inscription labeled K161 with 20 lines in Sanskrit mentions King Suryavarman's rise into power through battles. This temple has its own laterite wall enclosure. Entering from the north, there are 2 unique pillars with top corners sliced off. This is a very unique stacking of a lintel. There isn't a lot of things written about this monument, but a simple translation made me feel suspicious. It can mean trial temple or prosecution temple. Local knowledge seems to show that these temples acted like a courthouse. When there is a dispute or case to be solved, you will come to this temple where you would rather tell the truth due to fear of God or are incapable of lying, and therefore only the truth will be told here. Imagine the mind of a drunk person who is incapable of good judgment, or a child who cannot lie and therefore speaks only the truth. This structure, if can be used in another dimension, it will probably be for cleansing the mind so that it can only think about the truth. Kat Kadai Temple is written as Buddhist temple, but I think there isn't any solid evidence that this was a Buddhist or Hindu temple. Here you can find yoni stand and a pedestal for linga. Probably this was a Hindu temple first, and mainstream might say Buddhists and Hindus live in harmony. While we are guessing whose temple is this, we can add another question to the list. Who made these 2 stones with mysterious protrusions appearing around the world? This is the smoking gun that proves it was a product of a megalithic culture we are not familiar with. Just across the path opposite direction from Kat Kadai Temple is a structure known as Cook Temple. Archaeologists call this Dharmasala, which is loosely translated as firehouse or house of fire or house with fire. The unique feature is a tower on the west and windows facing south. The ancient knowledge for this structure is definitely lost. Although it is called a rest house for pilgrims, I don't think anyone rested here simply because there are no basic amenities for humans, let alone tired pilgrims. Today, some pilgrims prefer to stay in Dharmasala than hotels, but the Dharmasala today is made of modern materials, not polygonal blocks of stones. Some are just made of wood. When I use Google Translate to check the meaning of this temple, I'm surprised Cook is translated as prison. So this is simply prison temple. I hope someone can explain why this has anything to do with a prison. It reminds me of Buddhists helping prisoners to cope in our world through Dharma teaching and meditation. It is said that this is a rest house for pilgrims because Sala means house or place. So this Dharma house is somehow related to pilgrims stopping by for a rest. I think it has to do with positive energy to release the evil in us from doing bad things. The Dharma and meditating inside this structure will make a criminal repent, very much like the concept of restorative justice. I would like to draw your attention to this section of the monument. You can tell this is unfinished stonework. So logically, there should be a lot of chisel marks if it was done by chisels. Not only there isn't any chisel mark, This is a rock-solid evidence of shapes formed when they were soft. The bubble-looking work is most likely made to look like it was hollowed out when finished. It is as if the holes were scooped out with a tiny tool. Here is a close-up look at the Apsara headdress section. Do you think this is a carving made by ancient Cambodian chisels, or is this some kind of rock melting technology that allows a tool to scoop the sculpture into 3D effect? With such an enormous land area used for a religious site, it is actually very disappointing to see that the center of center is nothing but the great definition of the meaning desolate. There is no tall and impressive structure. Instead, there are many small structures in total ruin to make you feel like it was a battlefield. I believe if this temple is properly restored, there will be some tourism activities to add to your itinerary. If we can understand the function of a moat and a temple structure, we might be able to benefit from the positive energies that come out of it. It is very puzzling that such a great construction only received an unimpressive center of center, but I can see by walking around virtually, random rectangular holes and those in a row, which I loosely call gear track marks, prove someone else was here first. Since it is believed to be founded by King Suryavarman I, who is a Buddhist, this is widely accepted as a Buddhist temple. It is believed that Hindu King Suryavarman II used this as his residential home. I'm not sure why he built Angkor Wat but lived 95 kilometers away in a bigger Buddhist temple. I almost believe archaeology is a religion. Look at this area in the white box. It is 20 kilometers by 7 kilometers. It contains West Baray, East Baray, Jayatataka Baray, Preah Temple, Angkor Thom Temple, and Angkor Wat Temple. You can find them in my Cambodia playlist. Then, at 95 kilometers away to the east of Angkor Wat Temple, you can find Preah Temple of Kampong Svay. This mysterious colossal double-moated temple sits relatively undisturbed and peacefully away from both the ancient Angkorian crowd and modern tourists. I will call this the magnificent 7 temples of ancient Cambodia. These 7 temples alone should be more than enough to promote Cambodia on par with Egypt and its pyramids. If this were done with hoes and shovels, I can say Cambodians were obsessed with digging moats for a few hundred years and had a culture that could not have been forgotten. But take a look at Angkor Thom that sits perfectly inside Preah Temple of Kampong Svay. I wish there is a research to study the geometry of these 2 temples where the top right corner of Angkor Thom seems to coincide with the Baray of Preah Temple of Kampong Svay. I have a feeling this is not a coincidence. Imagine if all this were to be somewhere in California. San Francisco will be too small to hold these projects. If all these magnificent 7 wonders of ancient Cambodia were to be in California, where 6 are in San Francisco, and Preah Kampong Svay were to be 95 kilometers away from Angkor Wat, then Preah Kampong Svay will be at Sanatana Vidika Vidyapitam Hindu Temple of Manteca County. I wonder if that happens, they will be world famous today. If you ever go and check out this site, be aware that although it was cleared of landmines, it is better to go with a guide and do not wander too far out of tourist area. At the Baray, locals wash their clothes from a jetty because they believe there could be crocodiles. But landmines and crocodiles are not my concern for now. Take a look at this photo. I am more disturbed by this photo, which I hope someone can clarify for me. This is a closer look of the photo. The lines for the blocks stacked on each other seems to be missing. This zoom in quality is as good as I can get. It will be a typical laser cut with no gap or polygonal blocks that are actually made up of several blocks. I guess I will have to go there myself to find out. Well, this will wrap up my 5 videos on this temple. Hope you enjoy watching this short presentation on Preah Kampong Svay. Have a wonderful day and see you next time. This is Bernie Ong signing out. Lehai.